Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm Lunarcraft and I'm doing the weekly AstroTarot predictions. And I'm starting with Aries. As normal, I'm kicking off with the astrological information, and there is quite a bit of it. And then I'll move into the tarot cards. Okay, let's go. One thing I just want to point out is that a lot of what is starting now is in preparation for the beginning of 2022. It's just the planets need time to actually fall into the right spaces. And we are still having the effects of the new moon solar eclipse that happened earlier this month, and it was within Sagittarius, which shows new beginnings for many of us, along with the end of a situation that has been hanging around since May of this year. So if you've been struggling with something, it's on its way out, fortunately. Now, Sagittarius's influence is one that brings a lot of optimism for the future. And I will be doing predictions for 2022 in a couple of weeks' time. So look out for that. Neptune, as I mentioned before, is still having an effect. Now, Neptune is the master of illusion, and that means that now would not be a particularly good time to start anything new or to make any major changes. Venus, again, I mentioned before, is controlling relationships, and Venus moves into retrograde that will have the effect of all different types of relationships going through a period of change. Some good, some maybe not so good, but whatever it is, remember Sagittarius is there to keep us optimistic. And finally, Chiron, which is the site of healing, is also influencing all of us. And it's quite possible that because of Venus's activity, old relationship issues may rise to the surface, but it's so that they can be dealt with, packed away, and you can move on without that shadow hanging over the top of you. Okay, moving on to the tarot cards. Right, just a final note on the astrology side. Aries, you are rapidly coming up to a time that will give you really excellent opportunities. Opportunities to bring your dreams to reality. So I'm picking up that it could be something to do with writing, to do with travel, to do with study. And don't forget, Aries, I know we're still under certain restrictions due to the wonderful pandemic, but you can still travel from your lounge. thanks to the internet. Okay, looking at the cards that have come out for you, the first one, the Hierophant, is encouraging you to get more involved in organizations, community things. It could be religion, it could be family groups, it could be pretty well anything, but it will be something that really captures your imagination and inspires you. Second up is the King of Wands. Now, he is a reminder that life is for living and get as much out of it as you can. That includes fun, it includes things like travel and exploration. Again, I reiterate, the internet allows you to do those things cheaply and as a matter of research. Basically, he's saying be more free spirited. Now, your final card out was the Six of Cups, the card of nostalgia. And it could well be that you are experiencing, recalling happy memories from past times. Enjoy them and share them with others around you. Let everyone have a share of the good feelings. Okay, bit of a long one this week, but have a wonderful week. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft, and thank you for joining me for the weekly AstroTarot predictions. At the moment, I'm focusing on you, Taurus, and as usual, I will start with the astrological information and then move on to the tarot. Now, I want to say from the off that a lot of the planetary movements happening now, the influence will be felt probably more intensely into the new year. All right, so bear that in mind. But we are still getting the effects of the new moon solar eclipse that happened in Sagittarius, and that means new beginnings for many of us, along with the ending of a situation that's been hanging around since May of this year. Finally, we're going to be able to move on from that. The other thing that Sagittarius is giving us is optimism, hope for the future. So, it's all good. Now, I mentioned Neptune previously, and he is still having an effect. Neptune is the master of illusion. So don't take everything that you see as being accurate. It also means that month really isn't a good time to be making major decisions or changes. Alongside Neptune, Venus, which I mentioned previously, is active and influencing our relationships, all kinds of relationships, not just romance, but also family members, how you get on with family members, how you get on with people at work. Now, Venus is going into a retrograde path. So it means that relationships will become tricky. Not impossible, but there could be some issues. Now that ties in nicely with Chiron, which is the site of healing. Now, in partnership with Venus, it's likely that some old relationship issues will rise to the surface. It will be your opportunity to address those, deal with them, close them down so they can no longer bother you. Okay? But it's all good. It is all good. Now, oh yes, I'd forgotten that little bit. For you, Taurus, the indications are that you could be about to receive a chunk of money, maybe from an inheritance or a legal case that is being settled, or for a work project that you've completed. Whatever it is, it will be welcome, I'm sure. But you can also divert that money, or you can use the money to enhance your career profile. So, taking qualifications, for example. Now, tarot cards 1 and 2 and that one 3. Okay, let me turn them over, see what we've got. Okay, 2 of these I'm going to read together because they sort of relate to one another. That is the 10 of Cups and the Page of Cups. They both bring really encouraging messages around your love life, because cups are all to do with emotions and feelings. And there are strong indications that your true love could well make an appearance over the coming week or so. However, if you are already in a relationship, prepare yourself for it to be moving on to the next level. Exciting. Right, the last card is the Knight of Pentacles. And he is reminding you that you need to complete your tasks and get them out of the way before the end of this month. At least he's giving you some time. But he's saying that if you leave things until last minute, your stress levels are going to go sky high. Okay, that is basically it for you this week, Taurus. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Hi. Thank you for joining me. I'm Lunarcraft, and I'm here with the weekly AstroTarot predictions. And at the moment, I'm going to focus right in on you, Gemini. There's quite a bit to get through, so bear with me. Starting with the astrological information, I just want to point out that a lot of the planetary movements that are taking place will have an effect on us, but they're actually building up to be very effective early in the new year. So just bear that in mind. Now, we are still under the influence of the full moon solar eclipse that happened in Sagittarius. Now, what that means is that many of us will experience new beginnings. They might not be dramatic, but new beginnings all the same. The other thing that Sagittarius brings is a lot of hope, a lot of optimism. Also, many of us have been dealing with situations that started back in May of this year. And I'm very happy to say that those are coming to an end. Now, Neptune, that I mentioned previously, is still having an effect on us. Neptune is the master of illusion. So don't take what you see as being accurate. Always double check things. But what it actually means is that for the remainder of this month, it's not a good time for making any major changes or decisions. Venus, again, I mentioned her last week, and she is still having an influence on our relationships, but she's going into what they call retrograde. And it means that all kinds of relationships, not just romantic ones, are going to go through a period of change. Now, some of those changes will be good ones, others might not be quite so good. And that is underlined by Chiron, which is the site of healing, also having an influence on us all. And the effect is likely to be that old relationship issues will bubble up to the surface, but it's your opportunity now to deal with those and pack them away and be ready to move on with confidence. All right. And oh, yes. For you, Gemini, you are going to be faced with some challenges on the intellectual level. Now, you'll love that. That will put you in your element. It's also possible that, as you know, we're looking at relationships, you could well go form an alliance with someone who is more experienced than you, but they will end up being a mentor, not a teacher, a mentor. Right. One thing to bear in mind, though, Gemini, is look to keep the work-life balance in place. All right. Now, tarot cards. I've been shuffling them to make sure the right ones come out. 1, 2, and oh, that one, 3. Oh, I've got 2 there. There we are, 3. Right. We have got the 2 of Wands, which relates directly to that work-life balance that I mentioned. It's a reminder that you need to keep it steady. All right? You don't want to be all work, you don't want to be all play. Now, next card is the King of Swords. He is probably the sternest of all the kings, but he does carry a timely message for you, Gemini. He's acknowledging that you are really in your happy place when you know you've got a lot going on. However, what he's reminding you of is that you need to keep working to clear your desk in time for the festive season. And finally, we've got the Empress. And she is encouraging you to switch off from all tasks, every single one, once you have them completed. Her message is work hard, play hard. Now that will appeal to you. So put the hard work in now, then you can play over the festive period without any guilt whatsoever. Okay, Gemini? So you're in for a busy time, but a good time, I'm sure. You will love being challenged in this way. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft, and I'm here to do the weekly AstroTarot predictions. And at the moment, I'm focusing on Cancer. You lucky people. Right. As usual, I'm going to start with the astrological stuff and then move on to look at tarot cards for you. And I want to say right from the off that at the moment, planets are obviously on the move, finding their positions so that they can bring their influence to bear on us. But bear in mind that a lot of the influences for this month will actually carry over into next month, the new year. And while I mention the new year, I'll be here in a couple of weeks to do an extended AstroTarot prediction for 2022. Now, we are still being affected by the new moon solar eclipse that occurred in Sagittarius. And the overall meaning of that is that we're looking at new beginnings for many of us, along with an ending to a situation that has been hanging around since May of this year. The other thing that Sagittarius brings is high hopes, a lot of enthusiasm. So don't think you're being weird if you feel that way. Go with it, run with it. Now, previously I've spoken about Neptune. He is still active, and think of him as a master of illusion, meaning that whatever you see, don't take it as accurate or the truth. Carry out some research. But what it does mean is that December 2021, now to the end of the year, is not the best of times to be thinking of making major changes or major decisions. Also, Venus is being active, particularly in relation to relationships, any relationships. Now, Venus slips into her retrograde path this coming week, and it means that relationships could face a few difficulties, challenges. But that's fine. Some of the changes could be good. Oh, dropped a card. Right. Now, while we're thinking about relationships, Chiron is the center for healing, the site of healing. And the influence from Chiron will be to encourage you to look at old relationships and the issues that surrounded them. This is your opportunity to deal with those once and for all and package them away, dealt with, no longer having an influence over you. So, all good. And you will be able to move forward with confidence. Now, I feel mainly because I'm a Cancerian myself. But recently you have been working with a really heavy workload. And it is quite probable that you will be able to recruit the help of someone else to share that load, not to do it for you, but obviously that will ease a lot of the pressures that you've been under. Now, looking at the tarot cards, 1, 2, and 3. Right. Okay. Starting off with, oh, the 4 of Wands. That's a card of celebration. And it shows that your hard work has not only been noticed, but it's also been recognized. And that will be communicated to you. Don't brush it aside, all right? It's a good, positive sign that your personal circumstances are improving. Okay, now the second and third cards I'm going to read in tandem because they bring very similar messages for you. Right, you've got the 8 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. Now, any setbacks, delays, disappointments will now be swept aside. So they won't be bothering you anymore. And there'll be no residual negativity for you. As I said, things are definitely on the up. Things are improving. And remember, Sagittarius is giving you that hope and optimism regarding the future. Look out for someone new coming into your life, quite likely a fellow water sign. But there will be an instant chemistry. I'm not necessarily meaning it'll be romantic, but it will be very welcome, and it will help to make your festive period very, very happy indeed. So, you'll be spending your time at home, surrounded by family, having food, gifts, basically in your absolute heaven. So, you've got a lot to be looking forward to, dear Cancer. Oh, yeah. Oh, come out with that. Okay. I'll be back next week. I sincerely hope you can join me. In the meantime, look for ways to shed that workload. And I'll see you next time. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.